I haven't seen one. I mean, like not on the floor or anything.
Sorry, it was a little quiet there. I forgot to hit play on the music. My bad. Starting soon here. Whoops, didn't mean to turn off the music there. It's coming back. Just getting the last few things set up here so we can get started. There we go. A little bit of that T-Pain Pizzle Pack. Make sure I got all the proper windows open so we're ready to rock here. Doom, doom, doom. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I like this one. All right. Glad you can't see me with my neck all craned up looking at my monitor at the top here. So let's jump into some of this in a second here. Bam. All right. Let's get started.
And he's back.
All right, let's get this started. All right, welcome, and here we are, Monday night. Let's get started tonight. Have with me someone who I interviewed years ago. Gosh, I don't even know how many years ago. Let's get him on the screen here. All right, Thomas, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. It was at the Game Developer Expo in Columbus, Ohio. And I want to say around like 2015-ish maybe, or 2016. I don't even know.
Something like that.
Was it your first one? I mean, it was the only one I went to.
Probably. Although that might have been 2017,
Okay.
because I've been kind of looking through my history of when I've been doing things, and I just got a Facebook reminder when I first posted. Some of the very, very early stuff was 5 years ago.
Okay, good. All right. Wow, it's been 5 years. All right.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so when I first met you, it was you were working on, you had just pretty much started, kind of, right? Getting into making the same game, Booper Get Home, right? And this is all completely 100% been all you and your kids so far, right?
Yeah.
Even to this day, like you're still, and I mean the game, like I'm excited to see whether video or gameplay, whatever you got for just to see what it looks like now, because it was even cool back then. And I showed a video like 2 weeks ago. People can go back and watch it whenever, just of like what I had. My podcast was messed up, so I only got some video, but of me playing a little bit and got to see some of the gameplay of it. And it was pretty cool even then.
I appreciate that. I'm hoping that I'm getting better. The thing that I've been noticing is that as I'm working on this, it's also like your skill level improves. So you go back and you look at something that you did and like, oh crap, that's I could do this so much better now. So there's that impetus to go back and redo what you've done and make it even more impressive. I just discovered, and I posted this on Twitter the other day, a way of texture mapping by using like stencils and stuff. And I had done like just my face on a 3D character that I had sculpted just playing around, and it looked absolutely horrific. But as I'm doing it, it's like, I could go and do my levels this way. I just get some kids' scribbles and just hold it up.
Oh, that's cool.
So in this freaky thing that I'm just like never going to let out and let the light of day see, because it's just horrible and evil and scary, I can now go back and improve my game yet again. So, and then as I'm also learning this whole concept of game development, it's, oh, you need a game design document. You need level breakdowns for each and everything. And okay, I mean, I've just been kind of making it up in my head and going with it. But if I ever do get funding, I actually need to be able to show somebody, this is what I want, this is how I want it, and this is where we're going with it. Because otherwise it's like, oh yeah, could you make like a forest level that, we're supposed to do stuff in and hope that they get my vision. So
yeah, like you need the blueprint to build the house, kind of like you were just kind of putting up the frames and putting it together, and now so have you started like did you work on all that kind of stuff? That's a lot of work. Even just planning out the levels, let alone as opposed to just like, all right, let me get in here, and more like you kind of were doing it more like a painting before, right? As opposed to like a rigorous, structured, planned, commissioned work or something.
Exactly. The thing that's really come like full bore was that in talking, this is totally a family thing. So obviously, my kids are doing the art, they're doing the sound effects, I'm doing all this stuff. Even my wife, who she's not a gamer, she's not technical in that sort of way, but she came up with a plot hook that it was like, we have to do this.
Nice.
And so yeah, I have to get this entire plot on paper, and I don't know, maybe I'm stupid old school, but I'm doing it like longhand. And I probably should just be typing my 45 words per minute or something. But all right, come on. That's the thing, being stay-at-home dad too, is that everybody needs their time and attention.
That is awesome. Aw.
Yeah, this is Our oldest kid, actually, she's been with us since we bought the house in 2009.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and obviously the most demanding of my children. So it's been fun because in the past 2 years now with COVID, the number of Zoom calls and Zoom meetings and things that I've been doing, the cat's just like, oh, here, I want to be on camera, and here's my butt. So
My
it's a
cat
nice-
hides and avoids from it. Just like he likes to yell from the side.
No!
Yeah. That's what he'll do. He'll come in the room yelling at me. It's great. It's a whole ordeal. Man, that's awesome. I'm glad you've still been working on the game. You've still been going to the game I know it's like not maybe it has a different name, that convention. Is it still happening?
I mean,
like, you've still been
Expo,
going?
yeah, dev conference, something like
Right.
that. And yeah, obviously when COVID first broke, everybody shut down everything. And then they just started up again last year. And I was
Good.
lucky enough, GDEX combined with a board game convention, and it's called Origins.
Oh, I remember
And-
Origins from back in the day.
Mhm.
Like I went to that in probably like 2000.
So yeah, the thing that was interesting was, when we would do GDEX, it took up like this nice little quarter size of the convention floor. They took over everything.
Wow.
And all the game stuff was just kind of random little bits here and there amongst just a sea of board games, board game
Wow.
developers, people who were selling, Dungeons and Dragons, LARPing armor and 20-sided dies and things like that. And then huge, oceans of just people sitting at tables playing different games and a
Wow.
whole big cosplay section. Yeah. I talked to other game devs and kind of felt shut out. We kind of felt like we're just here. Hi, check my video game. And it was weird. You would think that that board gamers would be a natural crossover. No, there were days that me and my fellow devs were just kind of sitting there like, how many people did you got? 3.
Wow.
Like, that's good.
Man.
Yeah, it was
Because
kind of a
before
little.
it was all like when they did GDEX, it was just all video game.
It was all video games. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And certainly a good number of people who were attending were also either developers or wannabe developers
Yes.
or kids who had an interest in it. But certainly it was just having that whole video game focus that was great about it. Locally, a couple months ago, there was the Cleveland Gaming Classic, which was new. And I really enjoyed that because that felt more GDEX-like.
Where was that at?
That was over in Westlake. It was one of those old kind of wedding reception hall type
Yeah.
places.
It's probably over there by like Clague and Center Ridge or not Clague.
It was definitely off of Center Ridge,
It's
but I
all the
think
way
it was
down.
further down.
Yeah, all the way west by like Bradley or something or way out there.
I think Bradley was it.
Yeah,
And-
I know
and-
where that place. I know where you're talking. It's huge, like a big, huge
Mhm.
wedding center or party center.
And kind of ancient because like
Yes.
there were still ashtrays in the bathroom, like built into the wall and stuff.
God, I haven't seen
Yeah.
that like a long time.
There was a whole wall of the Nest recommended wedding venue, plaques and stuff.
Oh man,
But it was fun because they had a whole ton of like the 501st Legion, the Star Wars cosplayer guys.
Yeah,
They were there, and tons of Boba Fett's and stormtroopers and stuff.
nice,
Awesome.
man.
And because-
That's cool. That was this
Yeah,
last year. Ish.
Yeah, sometime like early fallish. I want to say like
Oh.
October or so.
Okay, I remember
But yeah, if
seeing
you look
posts
'em up-
about it.
Yeah, if you look them up on Facebook, because they're going to get an even bigger venue next time, and they immediately put up like reserving tables and stuff, and they sold out in I don't know a day or two.
Wow,
So,
nice. That's great. There
So-
is a big game community in the Cleveland greater metropolitan area. Really, all of Ohio holds a lot of gamers, but there's great
Mhm.
development groups. The Cleveland game developers in Ohio or in Cleveland. And just there's a lot of it in Ohio. There's a huge pinball culture. If you don't know, in Ohio, the Cleveland area has multiple pinball leagues and places to go play. Columbus has
That's
some
right.
great pinball places to play.
There's I just when we drive to church, we go to St. Coleman's over on 65th Street, right there on the corner of
Super
Detroit and
electric.
65th. Yep.
Yep.
And I keep like, I want to go there, and Honey's like, come on, it's time for brunch. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice parlor there. They started out with like an art studio, like refurbishing pinball machines, and then eventually rolled it into opening the shop. It was pretty cool.
Now, I don't remember, or I don't know if you remember, like, but when you came over to do the first interview, I've got a 1956 Vendo V36 Coke machine. I would love to talk to those guys and say, hey, do you think you could restore this?
Maybe. If they're mechanical like that, they might. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be cool.
I lugged that all the way from living in New York to here, and it'd be nice to have that working one day.
Yeah. Holy cow, that is awesome. Man, that would be a cool piece to have running. Like especially
right now, it's kind of empty on the inside. There's a couple of like just wood boards in there, and I put all my old DVDs and stuff in it. And, it looks cool because the bright Coke red shell, and it's got the nice deco bevel to it, and it looks sweet. But actually having a
memorabilia.
So
dang nice, man. So how's game been coming along? How's Booper been getting home?
Well, let's just say that when you interviewed me, I was still doing the like get up at 5:30 in the morning thing. And kind of got to a place where, okay, both kids are finally in school, and I actually had like 5.5 hours out of my day that I could actually sit down and work, get things done. An hour of marketing stuff in the morning. All right, some serious game dev stuff in the day. And then, all right, social media updates, and here we go. And then boom, COVID hit. And everyone's at home. The wife's taken over the office because it's got the, heady connection to the internet. And she's a trainer, so she needs video. She needs to be able to pump information off of 3 different screens to people all at once. And I've got one kid down in the kitchen, one up in the attic, and everybody needs tech support, snacks, drink, and everything kind of came to a stop. I'll give you a very depressing little story here. I was scheduled to 1 week do an interview on like the local public radio about the game. And then the next week I was supposed to be demoing at the Cleveland International Film Festival, and COVID hit and shut them both down.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the thing is, like, GDEX itself had like an attendance of 15 to 2,500. Cleveland International Film Festival, 75,000.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was depressed, and I didn't touch the game for a couple of months.
Sure, I don't blame you.
And I took a big break from that. And by the time I kind of started getting out of it, I was, just surfing online, and I'd been part of a couple of programs that were set up, like the Oculus Start, which they help out, developers like myself, and they give like seminars on game dev. They do tons of free equipment. Like I got an Oculus Quest from them, which was a big boon.
That's crazy.
The actual like Apple was they offered me an invite to Oculus Connect 5 out in San Jose, and covered everything except for the airfare.
Ooh.
Yeah, I paid for the airfare and a slice of pizza in the airport, and they covered hotel,
really?
They covered the conference, food and beverage. Yeah.
Oh,
it was
God.
so nice.
How
now,
was
granted, that was like for first timers, and they had top-notch food. The hotel was pretty sweet, and it's like I could get used to this. And then, unfortunately, to get myself out of my funk, I applied for another program that they called Launchpad, which was a 2-week game dev intensive training course. And then it was, all right, you go and you work on your stuff, talk to your fellow devs, and we're going to have like a contest at the end where the winning devs will get a grant to help you make your game. So unfortunately, in years past, that would have been another trip out to San Jose with all that shit covered and COVID. So we all did it by Zoom calls. But yeah, I feel a little ripped off, but still the fact that I got in this like auspicious program is still a notch on my belt. But yeah, that kind of got me back into the development part. And yeah, it's been back to, okay, the kids are now back in school. Let me try and eke out a few hours here and there. And I also decided that I was going to switch gears just a little bit and pretty much said, okay, I'm after funding right now. So what the people who write the checks want to see, they want to see a track record. They want to see published products. They want to see that you've actually done stuff. Well, what have I done? I got a demo on itch. No. I got to get published. So how do we get published really quick? Do a mobile game. So I'm also been working on a educational-ish app. I've got all the assets. So I'm doing an infinite runner where Booper's just running along a track and he's picking up letters. And as you pick up the letters, they'll spell a word.
That's cool.
If you spell a word, you get points. If you misspell a word, you lose points.
Oh, that's
but you
awesome.
also have to jump over barriers and things like that. And the idea is that, okay, I've got something published, I've got something out there. And when I'm showing at things like GDEX and Gaming Classic, people are like, oh, this is great. What can I do to help? I'll have just a little tablet with the game running. Here's a link to the Play Store. Just go and buy my game. It's like $2.99, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
that's excellent.
I'm working on that, and all of a sudden juggling too many things, kids, games. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. That's a really good idea to get published like that, to get something out there. Be like, hey, well, can you show us something? Like something that's out there, something that's gotten a little, and then that I like that you're tying it in to the same Booper. Like that's really cool that you're making it one and the same. Like, hey, I got this. Well, guess what's coming next?
I've been lucky that somebody has been offering me some pro bono like PR advice. And the whole hook of my thing is that, yeah, this game takes off. I want part of the proceeds to go to autism awareness and acceptance. And what my PR rep has been telling me is like, okay, here's what you do. You start several smaller companies. So you have a game dev, you also have a licensing, you also have like merchandise. So, okay, part of your game sales, 10% will go to autism awareness. What you do is you license the image. So t-shirts, caps, coffee mugs, 50% of that will go to. So that way you're keeping more of your game dev revenue, but this other incidental stuff, you can really make an impact with the donations to charities.
Yeah, there's probably a bigger opportunity to make a larger impact on the charities through merch, because merch can blow up and go forever. Like people will get multiple items. People usually only buy one copy of a game. Generally, maybe today's world that's a little different, but usually you're picking your system and you're getting your game. Whether it's computer or console, it doesn't matter. Merch, though, that's unlimited options. It can be put on a million different things and sprawl into everything.
Thank you, George Lucas, for teaching us that.
For real. I mean, was that not the best deal in merch history ever? That the people around him thought was going to be a flop. It was so crazy.
And what he sell for? It was like $4 billion.
Is that what it was? Oh, man.
Something, ridiculous. And now it just seems to be like, okay, get a good idea and sell it. The Wordle guy, you saw that, right?
Which one?
Wordle?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, if you don't know what Wordle is, it's the word game that everyone's been playing. It's all over.
I don't know the game. I just saw that it sold, though.
Yeah. If you see like people with like a whole bunch of gray, yellow, and green square thingies on their Facebook profiles, you basically, it's a word of the day. You get 6 chances to guess it. when you type in, like if you type in basic, for example, and 4 of the letters are gray, those letters aren't used at all. If they're yellow, they're in the word but misplaced, and if they're green, they're in the right spot. So you got to figure out which 5-letter word is there. Guy who made it, the hook of it is that it's just a new word every day. You have to wait till midnight to play again. And the guy who made it just sold to the New York Times for 7 figures, low 7 figures, but trust me, I wouldn't mind selling for low 7 figures anything.
Yeah, I saw that he sold it, and I didn't even know what it was. That's crazy. Thanks for the little rundown there, because I was just wondering, like, that is nuts. Wow. And I like that idea of the like daily task or item. Like, there's a game out there, Noita, that I've had for a few years, just a cheap game, but there's a daily run in it that only unlocks once per day within the game. So you get one shot at playing through that run of the game. And it's like a roguelike game where the levels are procedurally generated or whatever. So it's always different. So that one instance is only available then. It's pretty neat. And then they do like another one under it where you can play that same instance over and over and over of a different one. But I like that once a day unlock. That's it. And that kind of drew me back into the game because I didn't play it for a while. And then I played and then I was like, oh, well, this is a different challenge.
Yeah, I see that game pop up on my like Steam recommendations.
Probably because of me.
Yeah, it's just, everyone's got the Steam backlog that's,
too many games.
Yeah.
I'm close to 200 on there, and get most of them for like $3 over the years.
I keep thinking like, okay, I don't want to just grind playing games, but
you almost wanted to get a few completions.
Yeah. Currently, I always wait for the sales so I get things cheaper, but I'm currently like grinding through Death Stranding, and it's like, okay, post-apocalyptic, it's a whole bunch of quests, and wait, let's see, I just wrapped up Fallout New Vegas. Nice. Like I've been on this post-apocalyptic questy RPG thing. Oh, what's wrong with me? I just want games that I can play.
That is great. Yeah, I've been playing a few of those. There's a interesting one out there, Project Zomboid, which is,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like this. It's just old school almost top down, more of like a little bit of an angle on it, but you're just trying to survive. It's like in 4 different towns in Kentucky, and you're trying to survive, or you're seeing how long you can survive the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
And it starts out, it's like, this is the story of how you died. And that's how the game starts for you. And you're just in a house in the middle of the end of it.
That sounds kind of like, 7 Days to Die?
Yeah, I never played that one. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, it was weird because a friend, like my wife's bestie from like back in college and whatnot, her husband plays games, and he's like, oh, you got to play this, got to play this, got to play this. Okay, it's on sale. I got it. And I'm playing it, and it's just like, okay, I mean, I get the concept, but I'm looking at like the levels, and I'm looking at it from a developer's eye, and it's like, this is like an asset flip. This is just somebody put all this stuff together, and yeah, these are just cheapy buildings off the Unity store. I recognize some of the props, like that trashed car over there. I really can't play this. Like, I get it. You're all into it. You've got like loot chests just filled up with things that you've crafted, and you're just in, and nah.
That's great. I wouldn't recognize stuff like that. That's fantastic.
Well, because the other thing, like, there's the Steam sales and you get your games. Unity and even now Unreal, they have asset stores. So if you're weak in something, like, I'm not a good modeler, let me go get this modeling pack of, destroyed buildings for my zombie game. Or let me get this 2D pixel art for my, roguelite that I'm making. And if you're great at programming, it's a really quick way of getting something put together and off the ground. Wow. Now, for guys like me who do my own art, it doesn't matter as much, but they have sales just like Steam and, wish lists and, oh, hey, your thing is on sale. And constantly you'll see all right, let me just check out what's on sale. I don't need that. I don't need that. But you start seeing similar things all the time, and you start recognizing. And I don't know if you read any like game devs like Twitter feeds or anything, but there was a big thing about asset flips a couple of weeks ago, and people are just kind of dismayed that, oh my goodness, this supposedly AAA studio took a shortcut and used this cheap pixelated looking thing for, why did they do that? You know, instead of, oh, we went out and we 3D photo scanned a whole cluster of trees, you know,
It's like
to make the best model ever.
like, how much do you want to pay for your game?
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. Like,
Because you notice that they're inching up. Like, used to be that $40. Ooh, now it's 50. Ooh, we're getting into 60 plus now.
oh
And
yeah.
if you Game Pass, it's like, oh,
Yeah, since a lot of them, it's like you need the Game Pass if you want to play for more than like a 2 to 3 month period, or like play within relevancy and keep up with people who are playing. Because I've looked at like there's games like Destiny, like I've never played it because I
no.
just can't. It's hard for me to constantly invest like that and like, all right, here's another $70 for this year. It's like $70 a year they get out of people, which isn't bad. It's great if you love the game. It's totally, but I can't play that much to where I can justify investing in games. That's kind of why I quit like subscription games, because it's like
Oh,
you just got to have so much time.
and I see my kids doing that now. Like, you know, I was telling you, I'm setting them up to play Portal 2. Well, Portal 2 had initially tried to do the whole, you know, add-on thing. They actually have like a little store at the bottom where they were going to have hats and add-ons, but they never really pursued it. But my kids see that and they're like, what can we get? Can we get the hats? And I'm just like, no, dude. No.
Yeah, it sucks you. And I know some people that are real suckers for any type of like Game Pass within the games that give you those skins and just the extra stuff on it, even in the free games, which I don't really, I'm not big on them. I got to really like a game. Like, that's why I love the sales. I'm a sale hawk.
Oh, yeah.
Epic Games, like I probably have like 50 of the free games that I've claimed over the past year and a half, just because they just keep rifling them out.
And yeah, it's so easy to just like, okay, free, boom, done.
Yeah.
I've kind of pushed myself not to do any of the other, like, I'm just Steam. Okay, I did a little, you know, GOG, good old games. And, you know, they offer a few here and there too. But I've decided no Ubi, no EA, none of that stuff, because I don't have the time.
No, and I don't.
Bad enough.
I like my library in one app as well nowadays. I don't mind, like, I'll grab, like, because of having Amazon and Twitch and, you know, Prime and all that. They give out free games now all the time too, which I've been claiming, but I still don't even have the app installed on my computer to like install the games, because it's like, when can I play these 20 more games out of nowhere?
Yeah.
I want to, so I claim them, but it's like,
Wish I had the time for all this, but no. And, you know, I'm trying to set up a Zoom call here, and I got called away like 4 times. Homework, somebody needs a snack. Wife is like, did I leave a glove there? And just, yeah, I can't imagine trying to get centered, especially multiplayer. There's no way I could do multiplayer.
Yeah, no way. I try here and there, like, and usually on free games or ones that get gifted, but I can't, like, I get real frustrated real quick because I just get whooped on it. I'm like, well, yeah, of course, because you don't play this every day. So every time you try to jump in for a round, it's not like playing Doom back in like 92 or something, where it was kind of a more even playing field.
Yeah, because everybody's like, what kind of weird buttons do I gotta press?
Yeah, and it was all basic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to play a first person, you need to really get in on the aim. I've learned you have to use a mouse and keyboard if you want to play on computer, or you're just left in the dust.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. So I'm curious, because I never got a chance to really see if the VR would work.
Yeah, let's see.
With this, because I'm fired up. Basically, Nope. Now, you're probably picking up sound from my Steam environment. Sounds kind of like this creepy piano sound.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I am an absolute fanboy of Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever played any of the Half-Life games?
No, but I did like a couple years ago buy the bundle pack with like all of the Half-Life everything. So I have it all. I just haven't played it yet.
I mean, honestly, it is the pinnacle of VR experiences. And I literally cannot. Yeah, I actually got my cousin, or actually my nephew, hooked on this game because he got kind of bored playing Beat Saber. He got bored of playing, just all the little demo stuff that I had. I'm like, you want to play something good? So he is now currently playing. Oh, this looks neat with the
It does.
the headset. Oh, it's nice. You're coming through the speakers here too.
Oh, good.
He is now playing the entire Half-Life series because I keep gifting him all the games, because Half-Life has one of the most epic cliffhangers of all time.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, Alex pushed that cliffhanger into a new cliffhanger, so they just upped the entire franchise. So I said, oh, you have to play all these other games and catch up before you finish playing this. So here I am diving in. Let me know if you're seeing anything.
Okay. Not yet.
Because I'm actually in like the level.
No, I just see you in the same background.
Okay, for some reason I don't know why Zoom isn't taking the new.
Yeah, it was worth a try.
Certainly. So here I'm gonna jump out of this and pop out that, and we're gonna pull up some video.
All right, cool, man.
So we'll start off with the demo, which has probably evolved since. And
Once upon a time, there was a little boy.
I need to switch over so I can share my
Yeah.
screen.
Uh-oh. Unable to speak.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, what did I do? Hang on. Can you do it now?
Oh, let me try again. Okay. Share screen. And bam, here we go.
Sweet.
So pause you. Screen one. Share. And I should be able to.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it has.
Once upon a time, there was a little boy. A boy who got lost and separated from his family. Unable to speak, he roamed the countryside on an adventure to find his way home.
So while it's loading, that's my brother in the background who's offered to do voiceover work because he kind of has ambitions.
Nice.
And then obviously little disclaimer.
Man, VR, here we go. So awesome that you like started developing in it when you did as well. Because you kind of got in a little early, right?
Yeah. And if I tried to do it now, I would be playing so much catch up that I don't know if I could get anything off the ground.
Oh, man. There is so much more in there now. That's cool.
So there's now 6 randomly hidden socks throughout the level. And the idea is that they're highlighted in red. You need to collect them and bring them back so the king will open the gate.
Is that one of your son's voices for Booper there? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're hearing. And also, when they walk through the bushes or jump in the water, that's them going.
Okay. Oh man, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here.
With the sound effect of him jumping, pretty much everything that you hear a sound effect for, other than like the birds or the narrator, it's something that my kids generated. The monsters are just my kids' voices slowed down and the bass level dropped.
Oh, man. I love the animations on Booper. That's great. He's being chased.
The idea is that there really won't be any combat.
Right.
The worst that can happen is that he gets knocked down, hit jump, and he'll pop right back up.
Okay, good.
The idea is more about exploration and problem solving than actual like combat or even platformer. You jump on the enemy's head and kill them sort of thing.
Right.
All right. Yeah, it's my kid going.
All right. What wonderful new adventures await. Tune in next time.
And there's also 3 hidden objects in there, and the idea is just it's a slice to show what's going to happen as the game's played. So the actual game will start with this park level, which obviously everything from here on out is a bit more rough. And I'm also adding, I guess, a chase cam. So somebody who's watching a monitor would see more of this view, because one of the things that I discovered when somebody's actually demoing the game is that it's kind of disconcerting, because when you're in VR, you have a much wider perspective. You see much more of the world, and what you're seeing on the screen now is a little more accurate to what a player is seeing.
Yeah.
So the game will start off in a park that he gets to explore and play around and learn the controls. And eventually you'll find that it's getting dark and people are just gone. Like all of a sudden he's in this park by himself and oh crap, what happened to everybody? So he runs into a rabbit that, hey, look, you're stuck here. Do me a favor. I left some carrots floating around. Go get them so I can feed my kids, and I'll dig you a hole so you can get out of here. And that sets him off on a huge adventure to, find his way home. And hence the Booper gets home thing. So another level that I've got working is this is one of my kids did a gingerbread house in school, and using that 3D scanning photo technique, I threw it into a game level just to see what it looked like. So that's a gingerbread house that my kid made, and I threw the game character in there just so he could wander around.
That's awesome that you can even just do that for your kids. Like, that's so cool.
And it's also neat because it's kind of digitally preserving his work, so to speak.
It is.
But yeah, I like the idea that I could throw something that they made as a 3D asset into the game. Let's see here. Another level, they're going to get completely lost and end up in what I'm calling There Is No Game. But it's basically a big maze that they have to figure out and find the exit to. The hook will be that you'll have even less visibility than this, and you'll have footprints that you leave behind. So if you get lost, you can follow where you've been.
Oh man!
But on the maze will be viruses and other creatures that will try to like, separate you and get you away and knock you down and whatnot. But the whole point will be to, find your way out of this hidden little lands that, there's a bit of a story that it's called There Is No Game, because I had no idea that there actually is a game called There Is No Game, except my kids found it online. And it's simply a guy narrating that there's no game. Don't do this. Don't click on this thing. Don't do nothing. Just close exit. Go away. And while they were drawing little things about There Is No Game, and I saw the words and it stuck with me. Just like, what if you had a game that was no game? And this is my interpretation of the phrase.
That's awesome. I never heard of that. Yeah. That's crazy.
And the little blue guy that you see there, that's actually a virus that one of my kids drew. And I'm thinking that I'm going to add in that as you get closer to him, you're going to start turning green and getting woozy. And maybe if you can find a mask, you can get past him.
I like that. That's good.
Make it topical, right?
Yeah. Keeping it current. That's good. Wow.
And, certainly help with that educational part.
Yeah, I like how you tie it in. That's just very clever. The way you put your kids' stuff in there, like, I like it. I like the aspect of like you're going like sans combat, and that's kind of cool that there's no like, because it's so easy, like a ton of games you just run into and punch something or shoot it or whatever. To have to like be more clever or like try to find ways around things without just attacking them is actually like pretty awesome.
So this level here, I think, is going to be after you escape from the park and you go through a long tunnel. It might actually connect to a subway train, and you have to play like Frogger, for example. But you find yourself out in this big woodland forest area, and it's basically be a on the rails type thing, but you have to take this raft ride to a cave that'll lead you to an underwater level. And I do want to pay homage, I guess, to a whole bunch of the platformer classics. I'm not sure about the Ice World just yet, because I always hated Ice World levels in games. Come on, kitty.
Oh man, this is awesome. You've really gotten a lot done for this.
And that's for everything that, yes, I've gotten done. Obviously, there's so much more. There's, I guess you could consider these as rough sketches.
Yeah.
And I need to refine. And that's where the looking for help would really come into play, because I can knock out ideas like crazy. It's just when it comes down to actually making it, something viable, something that works, and not something where I'm getting stuck here underneath the waterfall because, I didn't quite figure that out.
That's good. That's cool. Yeah, it's one thing. Most projects take multiple people in the end. Even so, like, it's even helpful having your kids and wife help and brother doing the voice, and like even that goes a long way, because that's like 10 things you don't have to do. You don't have to draw all of this. You don't have to. You just really need to convert and program it into being and making it work.
Let's see, what else do I have here? I've also, I think, playing around with like the different animations. This goes back to when I was playing Limbo, and I always liked that whenever there was like a start or a level switch, the little kid who was just all in black, except he had these glowing white eyes, he was always asleep. And I thought, ooh, that might be a nice thing to incorporate. So I said, let's see how it looks like if he's just sleeping and we wake him up from whatever happened. And let's see.
Cool.
And I did kind of tinker with an Ice World simply because it's a platformer staple.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's right. It's in every story,
So-
right? Anymore. Oh,
The
that's
one
a
thing
heck
I
of a jump.
didn't do was change the physics so you went sliding all over the place. I hated that in Mario.
Oh, that's the game I was specifically thinking of was with Mario,
Mhm.
how you just go sliding. I'm thinking of Mario 2 specifically that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Ooh.
I'm also playing with like being able to detach the camera from the player too.
Hmm.
And what if it's like you can control him from a distance?
Yeah.
So yeah, certainly what you're seeing now is just experiments from a whole bunch of different things. After the player escapes from the park, though, I was talking about being stuck in the subways. This is what I'm thinking of, a very Frogger-esque. You have to
I love
dodge
it.
the trains because I don't know whatever inspired it, but my kid drew a subway and I said, what the heck? Let me see if I can't do something with it because
Oh man, that looks awesome. It looks so tough.
and
That's awesome.
one of the things that I've been definitely considering is what do you do when you have, an adult that wants to play? Do I up the difficulty level so somebody who grew up on Mario says, okay, I want more of a challenge? What do I do if a kid who's played this 10 times already says, okay, I'm tired of this, but I still kind of want to play it. Maybe there's a difficulty level that I could introduce. And certainly if I'm going full bore, I have to consider things like downloadable content and, the future expansion packs and
Yeah.
sequels.
Yep. Like you guys go on vacation, he has to get home or something. Or
Exactly.
wow, man, you've really added so much to these. This is awesome.
One of the things like that fish that you're seeing swimming through the water there, I found an add-on for Unity called Doodle Studio, and it's just a real simple like sprite sheet animator that I let the kids just play on.
Oh.
And they were making fish, they were making all kinds of things that moved, and I have to include this. There's
Wow.
so many things that they find and they experiment with, and it's incredible because they're learning a bit of game development themselves.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
There's a online engine called Scratch, which is open sourced MIT, and you can make your own games with it. You can code your own interactions, and if you're really into it, you can create your own assets, but they have plenty pre-packaged. And you could do things like side scrollers, platformers, infinite runners, and things like that. And they're learning this stuff. And
wow.
if this game takes much longer, I'm going to have some people on my dev team that are actually my oldest, the kid who created this artwork, that's the inspiration for this, is actually starting to learn Unity, because as they're learning the stuff, they're watching YouTube videos on how to do things. And he came across a video of somebody converting the original Legend of Zelda from a 2D game into a 3D game.
Wow.
And they were showing how they used, I think, Pro Builder or something to actually make the levels three-dimensional. And he was just watching these videos, and he's downloading texture packs, he's downloading images, and he's following along, and it blows my mind.
How old is he
Because
now?
I'm not sitting there like, all right, you have to learn this. No, he's doing it on his own, and it just my heart swells with daddy pride.
Yeah, the fact that he's just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, YouTube's a great way. Like, I use it to learn stuff all the time.
All the time.
Anytime I like I use I don't know, movie editor or whatever, video editor, like Sony Movie Studio 14 or something that I got off of Steam on sale years back. I still use it to this day, and whenever I forget to do something, I just look it right up on YouTube.
This is where I was discovering that my user interface, if you got too close to it, the text would disappear. And I still haven't quite figured this part out. So yeah, as the player actually leaned in, text would start disappearing. And it's like, oh, great. This is the fun parts of game dev that people don't get to see. People who are all talking about the NFT thing, like, oh yeah, that gun that you have in Quake, you can now bring into Medal of Honor.
No.
I can't get this one thing working in the game that it's supposed to be working in. I'm supposed to make this work in like another game engine. Get out of here.
Oh yeah, that's not how that's gonna work. Oh goodness. Oh wow.
Now, there's also sculpting programs in VR where you put on the headset and one hand just controls like a brush that you create shapes with, and the other will give you, options to paint it or carve it out or whatnot. This blue sculpture that he's running around on is something one of my kids made, and I'm like, okay, this could be potentially a game level. Let's see. So I just threw it in here and let's see how it works.
That's awesome.
Because one of the things that, as I'm learning this, I'm also learning what options do I have out there? What are my tools that I could use to create? And it's almost mind-boggling. It almost causes you to like clam up and, okay, I have too many options. I can't do. Yeah. So in my experimentation, these are some of the things that I've been coming up with. And what I really should be doing is doing like all the cool kids and jumping onto TikTok and showing this off and just kind of, babbling like I'm doing here. I would probably get about 45 million viewers like that.
Yeah.
So here's me experimenting with the footstep system.
Oh, look at that.
Now, it's not laying accurately and it's not pointing the way that the player is pointing, which is the next thing that I've got to solve. And also it's leaving footprints in the air because that's where the player's position is when it's time to put down footprints. So clearly things that I need to work out. But you see how, oops, he just fell off the edge. But you see where the footprints are leaving, traces of where you've been.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the look that I'm going for in that level until suddenly out of the fog comes a monster and, oh crap, what do you got to do now?
That's so cool. I mean, just the things that like you take granted in games for when you're playing them that you don't think of the intricacy that goes behind the development. Because when you're looking at like what you're doing here, like, this is the same thing they do in what's it, like Red Dead Redemption 2 when they're walking through the snowy mountains on like a different texture level. But like it's the same programming issues, I'd imagine, that you got. Are the footprints facing the right direction? Is this, is it moving properly? Is it all those little intricacies that we all are just like, oh, whatever, and run through a game without really paying attention? It's funny, like devs always put little gems in games.
And like I said, I'm currently playing through Death Stranding, and the thing that gets me is that some dev has been absolutely responsible for like texturing out Norman Reedus's butt. There's a thing where you have to take showers to like get all the crazy goo off of you or whatnot, and it gets converted into a weapon or something, and they always got to show his butt. And it was somebody's job to make sure that it was accurate and it was textured properly and whatnot. And
oh, that is excellent.
I mean,
how is that game? I wondered about it. I've seen it out there.
It's weird.
Seemed like you're
Like,
carrying around a fetus or something.
oh yeah, a little baby, and that's part of it.
Hmm.
And it's certainly another post-apocalyptic thing, but it's basically just long involved walking quests. It's kind of a walking simulator, except every so often you come across bad guys that you need to stealth past,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and it's neat, and it's certainly got a very rich world. It's just, I don't have the time to sit there and read every single like email or memo or bits of text that I come across
Oh yeah.
to get the full rich experience of it, which is a shame because it's going to be one of those educational parts of the game is, look both ways
Yeah.
before crossing the street, because that's what'll happen to you.
I love the like art style of it. It's just
And
awesome.
another thing, like I would need just an intern to go through the 2-foot high stack of sketchbooks that my kid has filled with drawings
Oh.
and say, just get good high res photos of it, because he's still cranking out constantly. I've got a sketchbook right behind me that he's currently filling, and another 2 on deck just waiting for him.
Oh,
And
nice.
because all of his teachers know what we're doing here, anything that he does at school, they're sending home, and he draws a lot at school. They send me, text messages like, he just drew this on the chalkboard, and but it's nice also having an audience that appreciates, what we're trying to do here. Something that I don't know if you saw or not, but I was just interviewed on Spectrum One News.
Not
Did you see
yet.
that?
No, you told me about it. I haven't got to watch it yet.
Okay, it's definitely in my Facebook. I can also send you the link.
Mm-hmm.
But that was fun because it's one of those moments where I'm just taking advantage of something that fell into my lap. One of the local, community Facebook feeds, somebody said, "Hey, I'm a reporter. I do like happy, feel-good stories about people trying to, make things better. Does anybody have any stories like that?" And I'm like, dad here that's making a game, about his kids' drawings. Does that work? And immediately wrote back like, yes, that's perfect, this, that, and the other. And this absolutely just totally wonderful reporter from Spectrum One came out, talked to me, just walked around this camera rig filming, me, the kids, playing the game. I was so bummed because I could normally screencast from the Quest onto
Okay.
like the big TV, and it wasn't working. That would have been great to see my game on the big screen. But she asked a ton of questions, and a couple of days later, there's this neat little news story that, oh my goodness, that's me. And oh crap, I look yucky. I'm all like blotchy and crap. I see all the wrinkles. But
Yeah, we really like Spectrum News One. Is we really like them. My wife and I were literally just watching it before I came down to set up for the stream, because we turn on, like, we have Spectrum, but we turn on TV, it always goes to Spectrum News One, and I just get hooked every time. And
what's
it's
neat,
the mix of stories. They pepper in the good stories with the rough ones, and
I had no idea like how big they were, because a guy that I used to work with back when I was actually working before I did this whole stay-at-home thing over a decade ago, he just shoots me a message. Hey, I just saw this story on Spectrum. I'm at my parents' house in Albany, New York, and it just happened to pop on.
really,
I know.
that's awesome.
I was blown away by it.
That's crazy that, because man, that they played it like that. It went around to the other Spectrum networks. Like, they just didn't keep it within the Ohio news channel.
And honestly, I wish I'd spent more time. Like, I need money. Anybody who sees this. One of the things that I'm thinking about doing is obviously, I'm going after, game dev contests and things like that. But, looking at publishers, although I keep seeing on Twitter that that's not the big deal that you think it is, that you usually get kind of rooked. That if you do it yourself, you'll make more money. But yeah, the thing that I'm obviously pushing for is just funds so I can hire somebody to help take some of this load off my back. And the other thing that I've been kind of looking at is, do I do a Patreon? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but because I do show this and I get very positive reception from the people that I show, putting up like just a QR code saying, hey, I'm on, Patreon, just click, and $1 a month will help keep me in coffee at least.
Yeah, have you ever messed with it? I like Patreon a lot.
Yeah,
it's a more of a yeah, the website takes their share, which is not a lot. I had it set up for a while where I was doing it, and my subscriptions paid for the subscriptions that I had to other people. But like I love it. Like it's a great way to share your like content. And I started out with people who were like a little more well known, but now like almost everyone should have one, especially in your game development, because you like doing even just videos where you talk about like any one of those pieces that you've shown us that you're working on. Hey, I was playing with this and that. What's some of your feedback? And posting that in there, when you have people in there, it's going to get the traction and stuff. Another one is Discord, but that is a beast. And I like running Discord servers is a job.
Yeah, that's
another way where you could post and see. But the Patreon is great because then you're generating a little revenue, and you can do like different tiers of things. You can do just images, videos, or if people, you even put like a higher price tier and say, hey, if you're just trying to help get this going more, jump in at this tier and be a legend. You'll get name in the game credits or something.
Hey, it's better than OnlyFans because,
you better start shaking. Yeah, that's
I'm 50 plus. This booty shakes on its own with absolutely no.
It's hard to stop.
Now, the other thing though was interesting because I did an interview last week with a guy that I was working in the Oculus Launchpad program with, and he just had me just babble on incessantly about things that I just normally do. And it came to me that I should also approach some of these game dev conferences because they always have lectures. They always have like, okay, how to add NFTs to your game, or adding realistic physics or particle effects or things like that. And they're informative. And certainly there's tons of that end up on YouTube. They're also very dry. And it's one thing to have somebody say, okay, well, I expanded my marketing outreach by actually upping my YouTube output content by about 45%. But if I sat here and just did my little shtick where I'm just, babbling on about my kids, and how this one time I'm trying to, work on a problem with my footsteps and my kid projectile craps all over the floor, there's certainly an entertainment value in that. And there's plenty of game dev, lectures at things like GDEX. And I'm wondering, do those pay? Would that be fun?
Maybe,
because back in the day, there used to be a great monologuist, kind of like Garrison Killier, except he was a New York-based guy by the name of Spalding Gray. And he had kind of that New York, eccentricity / neuroticness, but also like classically trained as an actor too. And I'm thinking he had this great little setup, just a table, a mic, and a glass of water, and just go. And if I could do lectures that way, maybe that might be a good fundraising thing.
You could
just babble about my crazy stuff. Like while I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm scrambling up a Rubik's Cube because my second born is kind of the opposite end of my firstborn, that he's in advanced classes at his school. He's in the 3rd grade and he's already, in the advanced placement. And 2 weeks ago, he's comes up to me, and there's a trampoline for our kid on the spectrum to bounce on because, he needs to, kind of get things out. So my youngest pops up and he's bouncing on the trampoline, and he's saying, "Yeah, Daddy, I got this idea that infinity divided by zero isn't zero. Times zero. Sorry, he's correcting me right here. It's actually infinity." And he goes on to explain, while he's bouncing on the trampoline, why he thinks that infinity times zero is actually infinity. And he's doing it while solving a Rubik's Cube.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And do the honors. So while we're sitting here talking, he is standing right there, and he's about to hand us a solved Rubik's Cube, because not that he's any like, savant genius type thing, but again, watches the YouTube videos. And I'm like, dude, if you could do this with stocks,
I'd have to say it's got to be hard for you to find other VR developers outside of like the Oculus groups and stuff like that.
There's not a lot around here.
Yeah, I figured they're in shorter supply, especially out. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, which isn't necessarily a big tech mecca yet. Hopefully we get there, but not yet.
There's a couple of people that I've talked to that do the guy who hooked me up with the Cleveland International Film Festival. He wants to get this area known as the XR belt instead of the Rust belt, and his thrust has been a little bit more towards the medical technology side of things, but he's very big into that end of it. And hopefully, because we got university hospitals, and bam, here it is.
Come on, man! I've never done one of those in my life.
Me either. Yeah, I remember back in like '78 when these things came out, and okay, I could get one side.
That was like no time at all.
All right.
Holy cow!
You get some rest, sir. And yeah, he's just grinning like a maniac because look at that, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I still make your food. Don't forget that.
I have the power to cook.
I have the power to microwave pizza.
I was thinking, because the way, for you, a good way, you've been doing the independent, which is good. And I think that, if you could just find, one person at a time to hop on the project with you that is working on VR, that would go a long way. Because I was thinking of, Valheim, the game. It's on Steam. I got it not long after the early release, and I fell in love with the game. And that thing is doing it started out as a team of I think only 5 or less people, and they've actually it blew up on Steam. They got 1 million downloads, and then all of a sudden they jumped up to 6 million downloads. And that was their peak for early release before they even did their first updates. And then they had to expand the team after that. If you could find just a few other people to someone to do the texturing, someone to do a pathing or something, or just a few different people to work on it, it could go a long way, because it seems like small teams are having big success nowadays. A lot of indie games. Some other vampire game is out on there in early release now and is blowing up, and it's literally a 2D screen. It's remember Robotron?
Oh yeah,
it's that idea, but super epic with tons of enemies and different weapons and stuff.
I saw that was on Twitter, and I almost commented about it because it was so I'm looking at a little screen
insane
on my phone. I could not tell what was going on.
It's $3 game on Steam. It's called Vampire Survivors, I think.
And yeah, I was just I watch my kids playing things, Just Shapes and Beats and Project Arrhythmia, and they're Twitch-based timed jumpers. And
wow.
I had to rage quit Ori and the Blind Forest just because my old man reflexes couldn't keep up with it. And I look at the games they're playing, and there's just no way. I'm sure if I found a copy of Robotron, I'd be dead in 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, that great old game. I love that one. We had the Atari with it, and the dual controller holster.
The 2 joysticks. Yeah,
so you could operate both of them. Oh, how ridiculous.
And certainly, I look at a lot of the games what was it, Super Meat Boy. I could never finish that.
No, but it's a blast.
Oh yeah, absolutely fun.
But no, it gets
and,
so hard.
Yeah, and those are like early original indie classics, like Braid, for example. I could never wrap my head around those puzzles. And that was one of those ones, like, if I'm going to play this, I'm going to have to sit there with like my tablet open on YouTube and just watching the person play as I'm doing it. And is that really fun? Is that really gaming?
No. I mean, sometimes it is, because you just want to get through it.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I did some of the earliest original cheats way back in the day when I was playing like the old classic Infocom text adventures, and you had to go to the computer store and buy the Invisa Hint booklets.
Nice.
Where you use the special pen, or you bought the magazine to figure out how to play Dragon's Lair. And remember, up, left, right, sword, right, left, and you had to memorize it in order to beat it. But nowadays, to sit there and just watch YouTube while I'm playing seems a little. But it also makes me wonder: is there a potential for like an ARG in that as you're playing a game, you're finding out that there's another level to the game that you didn't know about unless you watched the video?
Yeah, there could be. I mean, AR is another thing that should hopefully blow up too, just like VR. And it seems like they're getting there. And I know Facebook owns Oculus now, which whatever. It's Facebook, whatever. But the Oculus, I really like them because they've done good. Like the pricing on their units has been good. Like that Quest and the pricing, they just got rid of like the Rift or something, and they're going they've gone all in on their Quest now.
Oh yeah, because it's mobile, it's compact, and yeah, the price point. They're obviously taking a loss on the hardware because if you look at any other comparable, well, technically there is no comparable headset because there's nobody else just doing a standalone unit.
Oh yeah,
but the Index here, that's $1,000, and wow, it's like really not showing up on camera here.
It's the Valve, right? Valve Index. Yeah.
Yep, and it really. It's top of the line, best visual fidelity, best quality, and certainly the controllers have the feedback on them. So when you have a game that's actually geared towards it, you see your fingers twitching in VR. It's awesome.
Oh wow!
Which is kind of fun because when I'm playing, the shooters, you can flip off, people. But
well, I mean, the cost of a Quest now is about $300, which is the same as a Switch.
$300.
Like a Nintendo or a Quest, you can have VR, and they're both great systems.
Oh, totally. It's just obviously what they're probably aiming towards is to eventually mine your data. Yeah. And that's where it kind of gets into the scary aspect of things, because with VR, the next big thing is going to be eye tracking and foveated rendering. And with eye tracking, it's crazy the data that you can get out of, actually tracking somebody's eyeballs and looking at, that pupillary reaction like Blade Runner. Because your Facebook profile could say that you're a 15-year-old girl in Lubbock, Texas, but your eyes will tell you if you're lying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can read age through eyes, can't you?
I don't know about the actual age thing, but if somebody says, "Hey, what's it like being a 15-year-old girl in Lubbock, Texas?"
Right.
I'm lying. I'm totally not telling the truth right now. But it also tells you what scares you, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, and a whole ton of other information that they can mine out of that. And again, they're selling the hardware at cost or even at a loss.
Yeah.
So when I went to Oculus Connect 5, Zuck was up there saying, we want 1 billion people in VR, because that's $1 billion worth of people that can drop $300 at a pop that they want to get their marketing info from.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
That's 1 billion people in VR is a huge sampling of accurate, honest metrics that no like phone poll or online poll will ever give you.
Yeah.
This is 100% accuracy. And when they're scooping up indie studios left and right, wouldn't be too hard to say, hey, you still want that funding? You got to put in this little scenario here that maybe says, okay, what's your political preference? Or what do you feel about, having to do the, the train test where you can hit the switch and it kills one person or it kills
Oh, geez, yeah. The
I mean,
baby or the old lady or whatever.
Exactly. That kind of data accurately could be a game changer. It could also spell death and doom for how many people want to sell ivermectin, substance.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. That I didn't really think about their deep connection into it like that. That's very just because they're collecting data. Let's just be real with ourselves. We don't have to lie to ourselves about it. We can be honest.
Now, granted, obviously, I have a dark side. I have a very paranoid side, but I also read a lot of speculative fiction. Like Cory Doctorow is amazing with this sort of thing. He's got a great short story called Unauthorized Bread. And it's about just, a gal in an apartment complex, kind of lower income, and she hacks her little toaster bread maker thing and how it becomes this big, convoluted, big corporations versus, the consumer type thing. And it's frightening when you're talking about, billions of dollars. Spotify just dropped like, what was it, $4 or $12 billion valuation just because Neil Young said, I'm done. And all of a sudden everybody jumped on that little bandwagon.
Yeah, that's been an interesting week on that.
Seriously,
one.
When your job, your whole life is spent around this thing, this product, this brand, what would you do to protect it? I know for a fact, known for years, that if you work for Coca-Cola, you do not have Pepsi products in your house. You do not drink them in public. It's grounds for termination if you are photographed drinking a Pepsi outside your house.
Wow, dang.
Yeah. The same goes for Disney. People who work there, they call it Mauschwitz. That whole, it's funny because, when you read those speculative fiction and those old cyberpunk novels, it used to be, Toxic Megacorp was the big evil company. But no, it's Apple and Google and Amazon. Same thing, just happier branding.
Yeah, right. Goodness. All right, well, it looks like my internet is starting to drop a lot of frames on us, so I think we're going to have to call it. So I think the stream's getting real spotty.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I think the internet's just overwhelmed.
Well, everybody's home from school.
Well, it's been nice. Really, really nice catching up with you. I'm glad to go over this all again and see where the game's at. And, I love your art and everything you've been doing, so please keep doing it all.
Hey, and honestly, when I finally get to a place that I'm going to actually release, I want you to be the first person that
I would love to, man. Oh yeah, I've been excited the whole time. Like even looking at it today, my jaw was just dropping. Like, oh, this is awesome. All right, brother, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna do some posts and I'm gonna put that link to your interview with Spectrum as well because that's super cool and big, and want to have more people to see that too.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, brother, take care, man. It's been nice.
Chris, have a great night. All right.
All right, you too, man.
Bye.
All right, and that has been my interview with Thomas from Fletcher Studios, and my computer is dropping tons of frames. My internet is acting really funky right now, and yeah, it just wasn't able, after a while there, it wasn't able to handle the call as well as streaming. So we're just going to stop for now, call it quits for the night. It was really awesome catching up with him. I'm going to try and get this video out more and share his other interviews, so make sure to check out Mush Love Gaming on Instagram. And I'll definitely be showing that link there and on Facebook as well, Mush Love Gaming. So make sure to check it out. I really appreciate anyone watching today. Make sure to check out his game. It's really awesome. FletcherStudios.com is his website. You can go see some of his blogs and stuff, and we'll get him going on some other social stuff. So make sure to check him out. Thanks for watching.